Quick run through. Kufreke boke anyeke di andiamo. Okay? Kufreke boke imeki di andiamo. Kufreke boke anyeke di andiamo. Kufreke boke imeki di andiamo. Okay? And this is what Logophoricity does. So, Medio and welcome to Learning Biblio with CKNaija. Series 3 and episode 6. This is part 2 of our lesson on logophoricity and logophoric pronouns. If you haven't seen the first part of the video, I'm going to put a link up to it somewhere over there. Logophoricity is a tool that allows us to report the ideas, thoughts, and feelings of someone on behalf of that person. For example, I have two friends called Kufre and Owem, and Kufre and Owem went to the market, right? And after they went to the market, I had a conversation with Kufre, where Kufre told me, Kufre said that he saw his father at the market. We have these 3 points that refer to people. We don't actually know for sure who this he and his are referring to. So it could be that Kufre said that he, Kufre, saw his own father at the market. It could be that Kufre said that he, Kufre, saw his Owem's father at the market. It could be that Kufre said that he, Owem, saw his own father at the market. It could be that Kufre said that he, Owem, saw his Kufre's, so Owem saw Kufre's father at the market. So there is a bit of ambiguity there in this sentence. And what Logophoricity tries to do is to get rid of the ambiguity. Does this by using logophoric pronouns and efik-ibibio. So just to say that in English, logophoricity doesn't exist, but it does in efik-ibibio, and you use logophoric pronouns, and they're either singular or plural. Imo is the singular form, and mimo is the plural form. When you use it with tenses, you use it as 2 low tones. And when you use it with verbs, this is the agreement, the markers. And when you use the markers with verbs, you use 2 high tones. So we have another example sentence here, where we have the bigger sentence, and we have a sort of help translation. So kufre, and then we have the agreement for the 3rd person singular, and we have ke, which is the past tense marker in red, and then we have the verb bo. Kufre ake abo. Adibo is to say, and again we have the agreement there again for the 3rd person singular, and we have the verb, and then we have the word that, which is ke. Again, this is a very versatile word, lots of different uses that we'll go into, but at the moment just know that ke by itself can mean that, amongst other things. And then we have the 3rd person singular subject marker, anye, subject pronoun, anye, which can mean he, she, or it. And then again we have past tense marked with the 3rd person singular marker, anye, ake. And then we have the verb, again with the 3rd singular marker. We have the verb to eat, dia. We have the word for food, ndidia. And then we have a person singular possessive adjective. So amo, his, hers, or its. So meaning kufre akebo, ke, anye, ake, adia, ndidia, amo. Okay. So when I'm reporting the ideas, thoughts, or feelings of someone else, the person who I'm talking about, whose ideas, feelings, or thoughts are being reported, is known as the referent, right? Known as a referent. Once you encounter a logophoric pronoun or their markers, the first thing you do is refer back to the referent. Okay? Kufre akebo, ke anye. Okay? So I'm reporting the ideas, thoughts, or feelings of Kufre, and we encounter our first representation of a person, the word he, she, or it, and we see that there is no logophoric pronoun, okay? It's just the word he, or she, or it, with no logophoric pronoun. And then again we see or here, anye ake adia. Okay, there is no I. The first letters of these words, the compound words, and are the markers for the third person singular, and they're not these ones. Okay, so we recognize that there is no logophoricity being used here, so we know that we're not talking about the referent. Okay, so the rule is, once you encounter a logophoric pronoun or its markers, you refer back to the referent. Okay, so anye akedia, there is no logophoricity, so we know that this he is not referring to the referent. It is in fact referring to uwem. Okay, so the third person in the story. So this is referring to uwem. So kufreke aboke anye ake adia ndidia amo. Okay, anye ake dia ndidia amo. Again, we do not see the logophoric pronoun or possessive adjective here, so we know that we know that logophoricity is not in use. So again, this is not referring to the referent. We do not refer back to the referent. We refer to the third person in the story, okay, which is OM. So in this example, this basically means that Kufre said that he, OM, ate his own food. Kufre ate his own food. Okay? Now let's go to the second example. We start off the same. Kufre keboke. So Kufre said that imo. Okay? Now we see logophoric pronoun. Okay? The first thing we do is refer back to the referent. Okay? Once you see a logophoric pronoun or its markers, you refer back to the referent, and you know that this pronoun is referring to the referent. Okay, so kufre keboke imo. This is referring to kufre. Imo. Iki. Again, with the tenses we use the I with a low tone, and with the verbs we use the I's with the high tone in both singular and plural. So kufre keboke imo ikiria. So Kufre is saying that he himself ate, was the one that ate. This is what that means. So Kufre was the one that ate. Ndiriamo. So the lack of the logophoric possessive adjective, imo, tells us that logophoricity is not being used. And again, if logophoricity is not being used, we do not refer back to the referent. We're referring back to the third party of who is involved in the story, and in this case it's OM. So in this example, kufre keboke imo, we refer to the referent, which is kufre. So kufre was the one that ate OM's food. Okay, so in this example, kufre ate OM's food. The next one, kufre keboke anye. Again, the first thing we notice, there is no logophoric pronoun here. There is no imo. It's just a normal third person. It's just a normal pronoun, anye. So we do not refer back to the referent. We know that this is talking about OM. So kufre keboke anye akedia ndidia imo. Ndidia imo. Now we see the logophoric possessive adjective imo. Okay, so what do? We want to ask, who is this referring to? And because of the logophoric possessive adjective, we refer back to the referent. Okay, we refer back to the referent, and we know that this is talking about kufre. Okay, so in this third example, it's Kufre said that he ate Kufre's food. Okay, and one last example. Kufre keboke imo. What do? We see the logophoric possessive pronoun. We refer immediately back to the referent, which is kufre. So kufregeboke imo iki. Okay, and if you've noticed, whenever you have an A, with the you use anyeke, the word for that, for the past tense. So the tense marker for the past tense is an E, but with the logophoric pronouns, it's an I. Anyeke imo iki. Okay, that's just something to remember. So in this third example, let's continue. Imo iki idia. Okay, imo. We refer back to the referent, which is kufre. Iki dia. So kufre is saying that he was the one that ate whose food? Ndidia imo. So again, we see another possessive, another logophoric possessive adjective, imo. Okay, so imo, we see it twice here. What do? We do the same thing we did here. We refer back to the referent. Again, this is the person whose thoughts, feelings, or ideas are being shared. I'm telling you what Kufra said, so I'm sharing Kufra's ideas. So Kufra is the referent. Once we see any sort of logophoricity, any representation of logophoricity, we refer back to the referent, and the answer here is Kufre. Okay, so in this example, Kufrekeboke imo ikidia ndidia imo. This basically means that Kufre said that he was the one that ate his own food. Okay, Kufrekeboke imo ikidia ndidia imo. Kufre was the one, refer back, that ate his own food. Okay, so a quick run through. Kufrekeboke anyekidia ndidia imo. Okay, kufrekeboke imo ikidia ndidia imo. Kufrekeboke anyekidia ndidia imo. Kufrekeboke imo ikidia ndidia imo. Okay, and this is what logophoricity does. So in the English example of the sentence, where we had saw at the market, Kufre said that he saw his father at the market. These two pronouns here could mean any of these combinations as well, but we do not know, and we would have to ask more questions to decipher what they actually meant. But with logophoricity, with the presence of or absence of logophoric pronouns or their representations, we can note exactly who is being spoken about, and there is no ambiguity. Okay, so this is what logophoricity does. It gets rid of ambiguity when we are telling stories about other people. Okay, so just for things to remember from this lesson, the first is that the past tense marker in red, if we have it as for the third person singular, it's ke with a high tone. Once we introduce logophoric pronouns, it changes to an I. Another thing to remember is that once you see or hear logophoric pronouns or their representations, the first thing you do is refer back to the referent. So once you hear imo, you know that the person this refers to is the person whose thoughts, feelings, or ideas are being reported. And if you do not hear a logophoric pronoun being spoken about, then you know that these are not referring to the referent, they're referring to a different third party in the story. I hope that clears things up. Until next time, keep practicing your efik-ibibio.